Welcome to the podcast, everyone. I am your host, Mayra, with Soul Science Hypnosis, and I am very excited to have this very special segment today with Wendy, our beautiful Wendy who channels Metatron. And we have a special guest, Tracy, who knows us both. She's had sessions with both of us. And after meeting Tracy, it just seemed a good idea for her to be on here and share her story with all of you. Welcome, Tracy. Hi, Wendy.
Good
Hi. Hi,
morning.
guys. Hi,
Hi.
Tracy.
Hi, Wendy.
Yes. So, Tracy, I just want to recall how you had booked a session with me. And the very first time, I'm going to jump a little ahead during the time that we met on the consultation. This is when you told me that you had met Wendy and Metatron, and
Yes.
you were sharing quite a bit about your time with them. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, I'd love to. I had had in my budget reserved for the experience with you, Myra. However, in the meanwhile, interim of all that, I was listening to Metatron. I was listening on YouTube, I was listening on Spotify, and just couldn't get enough. Just felt so full listening and most things you've heard before describing, this experience. And I got this feeling, and I understand I come already from a platform of meditating anyway. So I'm having these experiences and very comfortable in this environment and very in touch and through all sorts of ways, in prayer, meditation, and nature, and in a variety of ways. So very comfortable as it was. So to receive any messages regarding it was not foreign to me. And I was on your site, Myra, and I kept getting nope. Every time I'd try to find an appointment that would work, nope. And I thought, and it hit me, Metatron. Now, I had because of beginning all this journey, listening almost in tandem to Wendy and Metatron and you, Myra. I went in and started talking to Metatron soon after I had heard a podcast where it was said with Wendy that anyone can talk to Metatron. Anyone. And
Right.
I just went into my room. I went into meditation and I said, hey, it's like, hey, it's me, Margaret. I was like, hey, this is Tracy. I think you know me. I believe you know me. And I felt this huge warmth in my chest, which is a sign that spirit is here. And I was able to distinguish by also another assistance of advice you had given during a podcast, Wendy, which was when you described your experience in taking on the voice you have with Metatron as a distinguishing item to help
Oh, yeah.
know the difference in understanding a voice and who was speaking.
Right.
I
Right.
heard your voice as Metatron funnel through me, and that's when I knew.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, I'm trying to do something to help myself in my life and move forward with some things and settle some things. And I want to do a past life regression with Myra, and it was like, nope, Wendy. It was like immediately go to the site, and we hooked up, and I was trying to make arrangements, and it was for an hour session. I had a Akashic reading, I believe, and ultimately it worked out where she had a cancellation
Oh, it was
during
one of those.
one of those,
Yes.
and during a time frame that was perfect for me. Fast forward a few days, then it was time to make arrangements with Myra.
Yeah.
And it was after the time with Wendy. And so that's how that synchronated together.
Yes. Thank you, Tracy. You also, I loved when we first met how you started talking about the synchronicities once you invited Metatron into your world,
Oh, yes.
right? You
Yes,
also taught your daughters how to
I did.
connect with him. Can you
Mhm.
please talk a little bit about those experiences?
Absolutely. I'm very verbal I have two daughters. I have a total of five children, two left at home. Uh, and one is 14, or actually 15, pardon me, and my other daughter's 20. My 20-year-old is a bit more concrete. For her to go into this place of a spiritual nature, she has to follow a certain pattern of things, maybe an event that moved her heart. It could even be a commercial on TV where she gets uh, so she's built a certain way and totally good. This is my girl. Now my youngest is built differently. She responds immediately, can turn it on, turn it off, move it in, move it out. It's way flexible in this way, not as concrete. And so I would discuss, depending on the nature and appropriateness, I would talk about the experience in meditation with my daughters after dinner, during dinner, or whatever. And I started talking about Metatron and Wendy and my experience in meditation. They already had a background with me anyway in this kind of conversation, so this wasn't a new deal. They knew I talked to my father, who's around me constantly. They know that I talked to Michael. They know this, and they've been around me a couple of times when it's occurred, when it was appropriate, I felt, as their mom. And so basically, I started hearing my daughter initially worried about her geometry class. And I said, funny, I got something for you. And we started talking about Metatron. And I said, let's talk to Metatron together. I said, he's the whiz kid of geometry.
Yeah.
And we incorporated that into her daily life. And over time, by the way, if I had it right here to show you, I wish I did. She has a perfect average. She has a perfect average in this class.
Wow.
Has had hundreds every week for the entire semester. This is a daughter who struggled in math her whole life since first grade. She is in 10th grade currently. She has nearly failed every year. So
Yeah.
Mary would tell me, she'd get in the car, I'd pick her up after school, and she would tell me, Mom, I spoke to Metatron today. And I said, and she would tell me, she said, I need your help on this test, buddy. And she talked to him just like a friend, as we've always talked about that. They are lovely and good and kind. And so she would say, I just told Metatron, man, you know, here's a funny, quick thing. They were doing a little art fun exercise, and they had to pick a few colors to fill in these geometric shapes on this paper. She says to Metatron, she says, hey, what's your favorite color? What color do you want me to use? He says, green. She starts coloring in green. So I just thought that was cute. So she has this active, quiet mind interaction with him.
Wow.
My other 20-year-old works a little differently, and I enjoy her way as well. She's more of a like, listen, I know you're with me, just walk me through it. And that's it. She just my girl is very matter of fact.
I love
So
that.
those are the kind of sample experiences our family has had.
Beautiful.
Wow. That's amazing, Tracy. What do you think about that, Wendy?
Oh my gosh. Well, number one, I kind of got stuck on the you talk about me and Metatron at the dinner table. I was kind of like, wait a wow, wow. I was like, oh, um, but I love how when anyone calls Metatron, he shows up.
Yes.
That's his promise. That's his promise. And so when I hear that he's there and helping your girls, I feel like I want to give him an attaboy, right? Good job. Good job, Metatron. Thank you for being there for anyone who calls you. So it makes my
Yeah,
heart smile. Makes my heart smile.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. So when Tracy did book a session, um, one of the things I do is send all the prep work in advance. And it also includes a pre-hypnosis audio. I think it's important for them to listen to my voice to get them ready, right? And so at this point, I just saw Tracy's name. I had never spoken to her. And shortly after, she sent me this email. I'm going to read it. Okay. Dear Mayra, I needed to tell you of an experience I had this morning while at work. I was in my office and my stomach was in knots as I'm handling a challenging situation. So for 3 days, I've been carrying this ache in my belly. It would subside some during meditation, but would reappear. I went into meditation this morning in my office and did your meditation that you sent me to prep for my Akashic Records session. Shortly after finishing, I saw your face. You said, "It's going to be all right." I clearly saw you and heard your voice. You said other things as well, all comforting. I just can't remember them right now. So I wanted to let you know that your healing covers many ethereal layers of consciousness. I was fortunate to experience this today, as no one else knows what I've been battling. Blessings, and please know that since that moment, my belly does not ache and I'm not worried any longer. Be well. Wow. When I read that, I was like, huh? What? Like, you saw me, you heard me in the middle of the day when I'm probably over here in Los Angeles working.
Yes, it's true.
Wendy, can you can you explain how that happens?
Yeah. Well, because we're all connected, right? And just because you're doing something else and not paying attention, your frequency is still available to all of us. Like my frequency, Tracy's frequency is available to everyone, right? And I think
Mm,
that in certain times of need or asking, that we connect with just the right frequency that we need, right? And so that's how that message could come through. That's how she could see you and connect with you in that way. It's like a meeting
mm.
of the frequencies.
It instantly connected me to her. I was so drawn to her message, and it leaves me going just like, wow, I can do that. Um, yeah, it was really,
Yeah.
really cool. And if I'm not mistaken, I appeared a few times, didn't I?
Yes.
Yes.
Uninvited. It wasn't
I'm
sometimes
like,
something
hello.
like, hey,
I'm here.
hey, got some cookies for you. I'm coming to your house. Um, it was instant. Now, most of the time, my experience has been I request it. I say, bring me your presence. I need your love. I need your light. I invite. You are welcome. Here, I did not. This came instantly into my vision, and all I saw was like a face. Imagine, like the cosmetics round mirrors you use. It was like that. You were like around in a cell, and you just
Mm,
now, it's happened to me with you, Wendy. That's happened with you. You've
Yeah.
come to me
Yeah.
and you said,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. People
Mhm.
people tell me that frequently, that I show up in their dreams, I show up in their meditations. Sometimes I show up in different forms. A lot of people see me in dreams in an angelic form. It's, I think that we have access to more than we think that we do, right? And that we engage more than we think that we do. So that's
mhm.
I love that. I love it.
So, Tracy, your session was very, very unique, unlike anything I had ever experienced. Most people will drop into a past life and be able to tell me, I'm here, this is what's happening, and so on and so on. With you, from the moment you dropped into your session, they took you right to the Hall of Records. It was the first place. It was like, bam, you landed.
Mhm.
And it was almost as if from that point on, the entire session was channeled from so many different aspects.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, you didn't really go into a life, you observed the past lives, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so that was really different. We never really we would leave the records just for a few moments. This is what happened. And then you would say, okay, I'm going back to the records. It was just
Mhm.
back and forth, back and forth.
Mhm.
You were on a field trip for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, you you were told you basically you were an observer in two of the lifetimes that you spoke as the observer. And there were
Mm.
different observers, one very, very light, and one was very more dark. It was
Hmm.
very, I hate to say that, but it was observing the dark.
It was.
And because it was observing the dark, it became the dark. It sort
Mhm.
of, I don't know.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
but you were a witness and observer of new civilizations, and your job was just to watch, observe, and learn.
Hmm. Very
Mhm.
much.
Then there was Katerina. You
Yeah.
also channeled Katerina. Do you
Wow.
remember that life?
Very well.
Hmm.
Very well. And as a background, understand the planet just to get a setting of its uniqueness. Gosh, I mean, I would expect that from one of my kids when they're creating a magical world on a piece of paper
Yes.
and describing it to me. It was a place of of fabric, feeling, felts, satin, silk. It was a vibration, and yet there was a physicality to it, where I was a queen, and I
Mhm.
was sitting in this chair because it seemed like if this was a film, let's say this is I'm describing a film, a scene in a film where you see the camera kind of, I saw this like a camera go up to, I guess myself, Katerina, sitting in this velvety kind of high back chair, and before her is this long hall, and and we float. We our feet are above the ground, maybe about a foot,
Mm.
and there are females, feminine entities that are there that we rescued from some other place to rehabilitate, to assist in from their trauma, and they were there to heal. And this was a soft, feminine place, literally. And
Mm.
I though noticed that out of the huge group of feminines that we were assisting, which was our job, this was our land, this is what we did, that there were three particularly um, um, out of sort feminines, let's say, that had a hard time healing, and they held on to their trauma and they weren't
Mm.
healing. This was causing some difficulty in tandem with the fact that I was informed by the elders that there was an outside source coming in, that there were going to be changes. So I'm trying to discern what to do to act in a proper way and so on. And that's where I recognized the darkness, that the darkness had shown up on this planet. Now, I described that two out of the three made other choices to finally heal, but there was one left that did not and had to be removed. And I
Mm.
think this is the connection you're kind of alluding to, Mayra, is that the darkness
Mhm.
I visited in I guess in an entity spirit essence form in the creation of darkness, I saw in this soul that wouldn't heal, that chose not to heal, didn't want to. And
Mhm.
I saw fraction. I saw this fracturing of this soul, and identified someone I know within that fracturing. There were seven fractures, and that was that. I remember when we
Wow.
pulled out of that, and I went, "Whoa, that was heavy."
What? Yes, you did.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I may add, when I did a background check, and I did this through AI, and I had asked AI describe the planet that Katerina described. And I said, what kind of planet does this have to be? And they're like,
Wow.
zero gravity. And it started describing
Oh,
the planet. I can,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And I did a background a bit in various ways on the different segments of the reading, to get some grounding with it, to make it relatable to my human daily experience.
Yeah.
And when I did do the follow-up on what kind of planet would this be and where could it exist? So it was
Mm,
really, really neat to,
that's fun.
I highly recommend others who have had these kind of readings, regardless of where and with whom. It doesn't
Hmm.
hurt to dive a little bit into the potential science, the potential possibility of an existence like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, after that, you went right back to the records again. And I asked, what was your happiest lifetime? It was instant. You were very, very emotional because instantly there was someone called Giovanni that came forward. Yeah.
Mm.
Do you want to talk about him?
Even now, he's my guide. He's one of my guides. He currently has been quite a long time now, a while. He's sort of my gatekeeper to what I call the portal for me. I have a set of rules and regs I use when integrating into the next world.
Yeah.
He is my gatekeeper, my caretaker, my protector and discerner, and I work with him to bring in and out any spirit, entity, life force that wants to communicate with me. When Myra asked me about my happiest life, yes, he immediately came up. We had lived in the Greek Roman times, and I was a young mother and a young girl and very naive. You could hear my voice, if you recall, it was very
Oh,
high
yes.
pitch, like a
Hmm.
little girl.
Very childlike.
Yes,
Magic. Yes, like fairy-like. It
yes,
was, yes, it was really incredible to hear that.
yeah. And I
Mhm.
talked about him and described our relationship in a very simple. He was a, I was with the children. He was a warrior. He would go fight wars. He was very good. He's also an equestrian. He reminds me of that a lot. He, so yes, I immediately, yeah, I can see the beach, I can see the ocean, I can see we had many homes. So there was a home in Greece and there was a home in Italy and there was a home and life was
Wait, do you speak Italian? Because you spoke something Italian in that. Yeah,
no,
it just sort of came out.
it did. I'll
Of
hear what's ironic to prep for this morning, if I may quickly say, I I've been making Italian dishes all weekend. I'm I'm Irish. Okay, I'm Irish.
Okay.
So that's why I was thinking about lasagna this morning. Honest to
What?
goodness, I was sitting there going, what should we have for Christmas Eve and lasagna?
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh, that's
lasagna? Why am I
I
thinking
made
about
stuffed
lasagna?
shells.
oh my gosh.
I made stuffed shells and pastina, and um, and he infiltrates me in the kitchen every time it's Italian. You know, he infiltrates my life and reminds me. Sometimes he'll say if I'm getting my temper's flaring, for example, he'll say Bella. You know, I'll hear. He also added during that
Wow.
interaction. Oh yeah, I'll hear it and he'll be like it's in other words, it's Tracy,
Yes.
check your little temper there, gal.
Mm,
He is uh, um a lovely human, a lovely man, a lovely person. And
hmm
he talked about coming back in that,
hmm
which he never had mentioned and I never had asked, that I would see him in the eyes of another, before I leave this planet.
Yeah.
And so that
Wow, that's
that was
exciting. That's really
Mhm.
exciting. And you understand that he doesn't have to come back as a baby. He
Yes,
can
correct.
come back, walk in, and be an adult.
Yes. I love that. Yes, because he's so advanced. Why would
Yeah.
he want to come and start over,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was really interesting.
Mhm.
We kind of wanted to surprise you a little bit, Tracy, and bring in Metatron today.
Oh, okay. Sounds lovely.
Yeah, he's your friend now. I mean,
Yes.
Betty.
yes, yes, and see what he has to say. And if you have some
Sure.
questions for him, go for it.
All right.
Sure. It'll take me just a second, please.
Thank you.
You guys can chit chat if you want.
We will just pause. We will pause.
Mhm.
All right. Good day to you.
Good day,
Good
Metatron.
day. Hi, Metatron.
Two of my favorite friends, huh? Both together with us today.
It's exciting.
Mhm.
Indeed.
Mhm.
What are we doing today?
I think just bringing you through for Tracy. I know you've met with her a few times and offered a lot of wisdom. Um, there's probably a few things that she would want to ask now,
Okay.
and she's very open to do it in this setting. So I want to say thank you,
In a public place, huh? Right. Well,
Tracy.
and one of the things that we will say to both of you, that you're going quickly, you're evolving quickly. And as you do, you become more and more transparent. It is more difficult to hide who and what you are. So that transparency is almost like you're constantly on a stage and in view of anyone who has the eyes to look and the ears to hear, right?
Mm.
So that's not to scare you, that we're trying to give you a kudo, right? That's not to
Yes,
create anxiety, right? It's a good
No.
thing. It's a good thing.
yes,
A lot of people don't like to be seen, right?
Mm.
that's true. That's true. So yes, thank you, Tracy.
Mhm.
How can we assist you, beloved one?
Well, I have noticed an increase in things being more difficult, meaning more pressure. So
Mhm.
my mind immediately went to like a diamond, and my mind took me to that place deep in the ground. Now, a couple of things have emerged as challenging. My health concern has reemerged out of nowhere from a year ago, which I thought I had gotten past. And a second thing is within my career seems to be just off the rails, meaning completely invisible and unrecognized, not considered. You get it. What I found, even as of yesterday, was Casey. I kept hearing, it's a new road. It's a new road.
Yeah.
Could we
Mhm.
expand
Yeah.
on that?
Okay, sure. So that pressure that you're feeling is the collective unconscious. And, you know, you're not as unconscious as many, but you're still part of a collective, right? And the energies upon the planet at this time are changing very rapidly. Timelines or shrinking, and the the pressure is actually, like you say, your soul is building to a transformation, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening. It's like that pressure, and then right there's a
Yes.
transformation. So a lot of things in your life might begin to feel like tight shoes. They don't
Yes.
quite fit, and
Mm.
sometimes you feel you have to wear them for a while longer, but the truth of the matter is that you don't,
Mm.
right? The questions are, what are you willing and what are you unwilling at this point in time? And that is a process that is important. It is how you're creating your life. And whether you're doing it intentionally or unintentionally, you're creating. So think about the things, and Mayra knows we've spoken about this before, right? What are you no longer willing to experience? Right? It might be, I am no longer willing to experience toxic relationships. And what would you will in its place? I am willing to experience whole, healthy, aligned relationships. That's what we talk about, unwilling and willing. So you can take each piece, each part in your life and apply that, right? And so that is great to remember, that you are sovereign, and so you are the creator. You will find, like everyone else, that it feels bumpy. And as you go into the new year, there's going to be lots of highs and lots of lows, right? Like peaks and valleys. And to go to the peak and drop to the valley and then have to climb to the peak again and drop to the valley is exhausting.
Mm.
Is exhausting. You don't have to take that ride. Neither do you, Ira. No one does,
Mm.
right? You have the ability to say, all right, I'm going to ride the top of the wave. I'm going to ride the top of the peak. I'm going to be neutral so that I'm not taking these huge swings of consciousness. You have the ability to manage your own energy, right? So neutrality becomes an important tool moving forward for all of humanity, if there's those that are listening. The pressure that you're also feeling is a little bit of, oh, and the best way we can describe it is pressure of the unknown. Because after the incumbent uh, president comes in next year, there's going to be many, many, many changes in your country, which are also going to create changes in your lives. And so there's your soul is kind of bumping up against that place of like, okay, there's this path, and then there's this path, and where where is the place to place our feet at this time? And you are forging a new path for yourself. You are not going to be involved in your old work for very much longer. You will find something that fits, like new shoes, right? A good
Aw.
fit for you, right? An energetic fit for you. But you're also going to be inspired to begin to create your your work with spirit as a way to be in service, right?
It's so
Now,
funny.
you mentioned something, or someone showed up after a year. What was that again?
A shoulder injury.
Ah,
Has reemerged out of. I went in
yeah.
to get an injection. I've had two prior, very successful regarding pain management. Went wonderful. Went
Yeah.
in for the normal injection, and everything I went through regarding its pain and its
Ah,
limitation of range of motion all came back. Everyone is my specialists are like they don't know what's going on.
right.
Never seen this.
Right.
I see the
Because
specialist
because
tomorrow.
why? Because why? Because it's not necessarily physical. It's
Right.
it is manifesting through physicality, but there's something else going on, and the body is just trying to give you a message. And so, if you can't use your shoulder, your shoulder is where you push, right? You push with your
I get it.
shoulder. And also having your body not feel well makes sure that you slow down. You have to slow down, right? You can't be in that, you know, 20 things going on your plate at the same time. You must slow down. And so there are things energetic and things emotional that are connected with the shoulder, right? And so there will be relief, but it's going to be a while. It's almost as if this is connected to the change in path and the change in choices that you're making, right?
Funny, I was standing on my balcony and it was in the middle of the night and I just looked out and part of the session with Myra was Myra had asked Michael, who had come through, what else did he have for me to know before we ended? And he said, go out and talk to the stars like you do. Talk to Luna like you do.
Yeah.
And Gaia is there. Gaia is listening. So I
Mhm.
go out to my patio here and I just say, I do not choose. It's so funny how you just had begun this segment just now with me is because I went out there and I said, I do not choose this anymore.
Yep. I am no longer willing.
And there I was with Luna right there and with the stars
Hmm.
and some
Right.
clouds actually, and there I was proclaiming what I am willing to do and what I'm not willing to do anymore. And I'm
Right.
not invisible. And I'm done being invisible. Because ladies, I'll tell you, I'm 6'3". You tell me how I'm seen as invisible. There is no way. And this also does another link for me as well, my friend, is that when Myra mentioned just a few minutes ago how it was an unusual session because there was some sort of control moving in and out of its own, an intelligence moving me in and out. It's something she hadn't really seen.
Mhm.
And what I'm feeling right now is that's part of my makeup. It's this movement, and my body's going, love ya. Here's your physical structure. You can only move so fast, so much within this physical structure. Your challenge is to be content in your
Right.
physical structure
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah. 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 In this experience, you've got to live in the body, right?
Yeah,
And quite often people want to live outside of the body. It's hard to get grounded sometimes. And so,
yeah.
you know, things will happen to ground you. Pain will ground you,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So you uh we are receiving a message. Huh, okay. One of your guides is saying, what is your favorite crystal? And to take that crystal on the shoulder that is injured, place it under the armpit
Wow.
Well,
and let it rest under your armpit. And then you take your hands and you run healing energy through the shoulder. try that daily.
Okay, thank you.
That will, the crystal will help to release that which is congested. And what we see is that there's, for lack of a better understanding, crystallization in the shoulder. Okay.
Okay,
Mm.
thank you.
Yes, indeed. Anything else?
My children, I don't know if it's so much of a request or a question. It's more of a sharing of those of us that are watching over them, whether they're in your presence or mine or both. And how beautiful that Mary and my other daughter have exchanged, been so free to share
Yeah.
and feel like a family and not some sort of exclusive club identity, that it's a beautiful sharing of unconditional love. And I guess I just wanted to share that moment with you.
Thank you.
It's been
Thank you.
lovely.
That is our honor, right?
Mm.
Yeah, happy to
That's
share.
why, that's why Metatron is here, right? Yeah, we can help with the homework, but we're here to create, we're here to create love, right?
Yes, and it works. She's evolved and come so far and so soft and sweet and could be like her mother, shoulder to the wheel, literally. And
Yeah.
um, so I've seen a different side of her and then a beautiful excelling of spirit very quickly. So
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Your, as we've discussed, your children are precious, um, and more gifted than they know.
oh yes, indeed. Thank you.
Mm. That is
Well,
beautiful. Metatron, do you have a message for our listeners? We are approaching the end of the year, a new year coming. What advice do you have for us?
so you call this time of the year the holidays.
We do.
We're going to ask that perhaps during these holidays, you also inject the understanding that these are holy days. Holy. The end of this year is marking the end of an era, so to speak. It's positive, it's a completion of a number of things upon your planet. A great number of soul agreements and contracts are being completed. And so in some regards, the veil is being lifted for everyone to have a different experience of themselves and in their life and of the world in the coming year. Treat yourself as holy. You are God. Love yourself, take care of yourself as much as you do others. Right? That's important to remember that you're important. Each and every one who is hearing this is important. And so finding the peace inside of you during this holiday season so that you may feel the holiness of the days and the connections and of yourself. That is what is important between now and the new year. Okay? Holy I am. That's a great mantra. Holy I am.
Holy I am.
Yeah,
I am.
indeed.
Thank
How
you.
does that feel?
Beautiful.
Feels good.
Mhm.
Does. And a beautiful reminder to honor our eternal selves. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Hmm. All right, you both
Thank
get gold stars, right?
you.
We'll take them.
Yeah, yes, indeed. All
Thank you,
right.
You.
Metatron.
Are
Thank
you
you.
complete for today?
Yes, until next time.
Until next time. Namaste.
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 Oh, 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 excuse me.
Bless
Wow.
you.
Usually it's a yawn. Today it was a sneeze. Hmm. I beg your pardon.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get what you needed?
Yes, more than
Yes.
more than expected. Yes.
Good. Good.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
It was
beautiful trip.
beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm.
So, Wendy, I know that you just got back from Sedona recently. That's why we have not had our normal monthly segment. It's
Mhm.
been retreats and also, of course, holidays. So,
Oh my
do you
gosh,
want
yeah.
to tell
Oh,
us about that?
the retreat to
Mm,
Sedona was amazing. One of the things that really stands out to me is that on our last night there, we went on a UFO tour, and the woman who took us has been, 40 years in, UFO work, took us out to a huge, like, empty space facing Thunder Mountain. For anyone who knows what Thunder Mountain is, it's very
mm,
flat, and there's no lights, no homes on it, anything like that. And then they handed out, and there's a group of 19 of us, handed out military grade night vision goggles.
mm.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Told us what the
That's a big
planes
deal.
looked like, told us what the
Getting chills.
satellites looked like, told us what the drones looked like, and said anything else is ships. It's
Okay.
like 19 of us go like this at the same time, and there was a collective
Ah,
the people who were, leading us later told us that when they've noticed that when they have groups of high vibrational people, that there's more activity.
yeah.
One woman in our group was so blown away, she started counting how many ships. And and we could see Andromeda. We'd see the ships,
Mhm.
and they would, they'd get bigger, and then they'd get smaller, and then they'd move through a portal. It,
Wow.
I'm a believer.
Yes.
I thought, oh well, they're gonna be speaking to the choir. I walked away changed. I can't tell you. It was like when I walked away, I went, there's so much that we
Mm.
don't see with our own eyes,
Right.
that we have to put something else on so that we can see. It was one of the most extraordinary experiences that I've had. And that was just a game changer for me. So yeah, we had a great trip. People
Mm.
started coming down with COVID. We had people from all over the world joining us,
Oh
and we
no.
had several people at the retreat get COVID. And I did really well until the day that we were supposed to come home, and I started getting sick, and I got home, and then I was down COVID for 3 weeks. So
Mm.
that on top of the retreat was I was gone for almost 3 weeks. I'm like, where did November go?
Right.
Like, wait,
Yeah.
wait, we're in December already. So, so that was really great. Yeah. And I'm getting really excited about my year-long program. And that's, there's lots of information coming through about that. So I'm just like, I'm back feeling like myself, getting ready for
Mm.
Christmas, which is my favorite. So yeah, it's all good.
I love that. Thank you so much.
You're
Mhm.
welcome.
I'm
You're
glad you're
welcome.
feeling back to your normal self.
Well, maybe you can mark it on your calendar. I'm co-facilitating a retreat to Shasta next September. So if that's
Wow.
something that entices you,
Hmm.
that's on the books. So
Beautiful.
and
Hmm.
I know that we'll see some
Oh
UFOs there.
yeah.
It's easy to see the UFOs in
Yes.
Shasta.
Hmm. Thank
Yeah.
you. This was wonderful, ladies. Thank you,
so much.
Tracy,
Of
for being
course.
so open and sharing, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It's been
Anytime.
such a pleasure getting to know you.
Oh,
Yeah.
you as well, Wendy. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yes, yes, yes. I hope you guys have beautiful holidays, holy days,
Holy
Holy
days,
days,
yes.
yes.
holy
You
days.
also, both of you, lovelies. Yes.
Thank you,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you, everybody. Until next time.
Till next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.